This is The Cut, American Whiskey, Daily. Every bourbon got pricier this week. One didn't. Heaven Hill just raised wholesale prices on Evan Williams and Elijah Craig. Wild Turkey held 101 flat for a fourth straight year. Same 48 hours, two completely different bets. Here's what that gap actually tells you. I'm John from Chasing the Unicorn podcast. Here's what moved today. July 15th, 2026. Today's big move is a number that came in lower than anyone expected, and that almost never happens anymore. Buffalo Trace confirmed the full spec on the next E.H. Taylor Jr. release, 12 years old, 100.6 proof, and an MSRP of $54.99. Trade watchers were bracing for something closer to $60. This landed about $5 under. Master distiller Harlan Wheatley said the pricing is deliberate. He wants the Taylor line to stay something people can actually buy off a shelf, not just something they watch climb on an auction site. National allocation is set at roughly 18,000 bottles, a modest bump over last year, and it ships to distributors in August, right ahead of fall allocation season. Here's why that number matters more than it looks like it should. Barrel and glass costs have been climbing across the whole industry this year. We're about to hear exactly how much in a minute. So a growing distillery choosing to hold a chased bottle's price down anyway is a real signal, not a marketing line. The test comes in August when it actually hits a shelf. Does $54.99 survive contact with a real store, or does markup eat it before you ever see it? Now, today's chase. Because while Buffalo Trace was protecting one price point, the rest of the market was busy proving why that's getting harder to do. Heaven Hill told its distributors this week that wholesale prices on Evan Williams and Elijah Craig are going up 4 to 6%, citing glass and barrel costs. That's a real industry-wide pressure. Cooperage and glass have been climbing since 2023, and eventually most producers pass some of it through. In the very same window, Wild Turkey confirmed 101 holds at $27.99 for a fourth year running. Same input costs, different answer. Eddie Russell's explanation is worth taking seriously. Wild Turkey's lower, more predictable entry proof keeps their input costs steadier than distilleries leaning on younger, faster-turned inventory. That's a production choice, not luck, and it's the kind of thing that only shows up when you put two distilleries side by side in the same week. Here's the actual move today, and it's a two-part one. First, if your store hasn't repriced Elijah Craig's small batch or Evan Williams yet, that old invoice pricing is still moving through the pipeline in a lot of markets. Buy this week, not next month. Second, and bigger, get on your retailer's Taylor line notification list right now. An 18,000 bottle national release under $55 is not going to sit at MSRP once it lands in August. You want to be first in line, not finding out about it from someone else's photo. One more piece worth knowing while you're at it. Michter's just confirmed its 2026 toasted barrel finish will ship with a fixed national MSRP, $99.99, for the first time after 2 years of retailers setting their own price. That's a direct response to secondary confusion on prior releases, where the bottle traded $180 to $220 once it left the store. The pre-order window is open now through July 20th. Vanilla bean, brown butter, a nutty edge from the extra toasting, and this time, the price on the shelf should actually match the price you were told. That window closes fast, so don't sit on it. Now for the quick teaching moment. Why a price moves in the first place, since today gave us a perfect side-by-side. So here's what it is. Prices don't move at random. Heaven Hill and Wild Turkey are facing the exact same rising costs. Glass shortages, barrel wood pressure, cooperage costs climbing since 2023. The difference is what each distillery decided to do about it. One passed the cost straight through. One absorbed it because a steadier production process gave them room to. Both are legitimate business decisions. They just tell you different things about the company behind the bottle. What this changes, when you see a price jump, don't assume it's greed. It's usually a real cost working its way downstream. And when a price holds flat for years while everything around it climbs, that's often a genuine production advantage paying off, not a coincidence. A word of caution before you go chase any of this. There's a secondary signal worth knowing about too. Pappy 15's resale floor just moved for the first time in 6 months, dropping from around $850 to roughly $780 in one tracked auction cycle. It had held steadier than almost anything else in that tier. So when a benchmark bottle like that finally cracks, collectors read it as more than noise. It's not a reason to panic. It's a reminder that even the bottles that feel bulletproof are still priced by a market, not by reputation alone. Here's the rule of thumb that ties all of it together. When you're deciding whether to chase a bottle or wait, the price of being wrong matters as much as the odds of being right. A Taylor release at $54.99 is a low-cost bet if you're wrong about timing. You just missed a fair price, not a fortune. A secondary bottle sliding off its floor is a different kind of bet entirely. Know which one you're making before you pull the trigger. One more thing before we close. The full American Whiskey Industry Brief lays out this week's flight, head-to-head. E.H. Taylor Jr.'s new 12-year against Wild Turkey 101, the allocated pick against the everyday value pick. I'm not going to give away which one wins. That's in the brief. That's the cut. The full American Whiskey Industry Brief is waiting at patreon.com/chasingtheunicorn podcast. I'm John Schuster. Thanks for joining me. Your unicorn is out there.